You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag cause we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
You are now tuned in to the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
All right, good evening, everybody. Somebody definitely pulled the wrong button on that deal. On the all-new KLRN Radio.
My bad, brother.
Producer come sliding into the soundboard tonight. I mean, you know, hitting the buttons as he comes sliding in sideways. We're going to give him a free pass on this one tonight. At least I will. I can't say what the other person might do, but and he knows who I'm talking about. But anyway, look, my intern Seymour is off tonight, so I don't have anybody holding glass for me to break, so we won't be shattering any windows tonight. But we are still going to get serious here. And I know I was out last week, and I apologize for that. But I'm here now, and I'm glad you are too. So now that being all said, I have no clue exactly what the rest of the lineup holds for tonight. So, Mr. Producer, if you're listening, maybe not. Okay, and that's fine. Anyway, all right, we'll just we'll crank this up. We'll pay the bills later, and I'll tell you what's coming up after the break. We still got some serious crap going on in this country. You know, it is election season, and that's serious enough. But how desperate is the left? You know, I mean, they're dropping in the polls. Hillary's losing ground to Trump. I know, it's amazing. I can't believe it either, but it's actually happening according to the polls. You know, we just we're going to have to hang on and see what happens here. I would never tell anybody to not vote their conscience. I think everybody should vote their conscience. That being said, I do believe that this is what they're calling a binary election. We know one of the two major candidates are going to win. Gary Johnson has proven himself to be just a complete frickin' moron, as I knew he would. I mean, 4 years ago, the only thing he would take a stand on is legalizing pot. He wouldn't even come out against third trimester abortions. You know, I expect nothing less from Gary Johnson. What else do we have? Oh, yeah, Jill Stein. Yeah, she's out there. She's not going anywhere. Evan McMullen, solid guy. Just nobody knows who you are, and you jumped into the race way too late. You might have had a shot if you came after it, you know, but just hanging around and trying to pick up the scraps at the end, that's not a winning recipe for anybody. But anyway, Hillary's numbers are dropping, and the left is desperate to continue the glory years, as you will come to know Obama's term historically, because that's how the left is going to rewrite history. They're going to refer to Obama's terms as the glory years. Yeah, exactly. So here we got the Department of Health and Human Services. This wretched piece of bureaucratic male bovine excrement has released a proposed rule that seeks to ban any recipient of Title X federal funding for family planning from excluding potential funding recipients, now get this, for reasons unrelated to its ability to provide services effectively. So basically, this rule would prevent states from defunding abortion providers as long as they can provide abortions. So in a document seeking comment on the proposed rule, HHS noted that since 2011, 13 states have taken actions to restrict participation by certain types of providers as subrecipients in the Title X program based on factors unrelated to the provider's ability to provide the services required under Title X effectively. In at least several instances, this has led to disruption of services or reduction of services, they claim. HHS went on to cite examples of Florida and Texas attempts to defund abortion providers. Now, the document added that data shows that restricting specific providers of Title X services has harmful effects on access to family planning services and is linked with increased pregnancy rates that are not in line with population-wide trends. By all means, we should kill babies based on trends. So according to the HHS document, studies have also shown that state actions to exclude specific family planning providers causes reduced use of highly effective methods of contraception and corresponding increases in rates of childbirth among populations that rely on federally supported care. So basically, they don't want poor people having more babies. None of these states' restrictions are related to the subrecipient's ability to effectively deliver Title X services, HHS notes. And by the way, in case you're wondering about what services they're talking about, that would be the murdering of unborn children. So this latest stunt from Obama's Department of Health and Human Services should surprise absolutely no one, according to Representative Diane Black of Tennessee. And she said, "We've known all along that the Obama administration will go to untold lengths to protect its friends in the big abortion industry. Now they have taken the unprecedented step of thwarting states' rights with a shady proposed rule change that prevents states from funding the providers who will best serve their citizens." Notice she said, best serve. In the coming days, she intends to lead a letter expressing the deep concerns of members of Congress on this proposal, but she says they won't stop there. She says they will use the full force of Congress and the grassroots strength of the national pro-life movement to defeat this absurd rule and prevent the Obama administration from acting unilaterally to carry out political favors and prop up a scandal-ridden abortion provider. Now, in case you've had your head in the sand for the last few years, that would be Planned Parenthood she's referring to. It's absolutely absurd, but she actually hit the nail right on the head here towards the end of her comments. Let me rewind back up to it here. Excuse me. She talks about the administration acting unilaterally. That's what Obama's 8 years in office has literally come down to. That is his legacy, for the right anyway. For the right, Obama's legacy is unilateral action. And he's proving it over at the G20. Basically, you got China and Russia. They're, if you'll forgive the terminology here, they're running a train on America's ass over at the G20 right now. That's just what it boils down to.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
God, you would hope so, but Obama's just giving it away over there. Just absolutely giving it away. And when he's not giving it away, he's agreeing with the communist bloc countries. What do you have to do? What do you have to do? But anyway, so that's enough on HHS. We're going to press on. Just know that there are still some conservative-minded pro-life folks in Congress that are willing to stand up and fight for the rights of unborn children. And by God, we should be supporting those people if we're conservatives in our hearts. And that's all I really have to say about that. So pressing on, we now are getting a different story from the Obama administration about the quote-unquote ransom that was paid to Iran earlier this year in the form of 1.7 billion with a billion, like Bachman Turner Overdrive, billion dollars to Iran that was in cash, all cash. Cha-ching, baby. 1.7 billion in cash. I could make that disappear. I didn't say I could spend it all, but I could make it disappear. Anyway, the Republican critics of the payouts to Iran are they're still denouncing the payments. They're still calling it ransom. But we're getting a whole different take on it now from the Obama administration, who first just said, it's not ransom, it's not ransom, it's not ransom. Pox on you, you're being mean. So the Treasury Department spokeswoman, Don Selak, said in a statement late Tuesday that the cash payments were necessary because of the, quote, now get this quote, effectiveness of U.S. and international sanctions, which isolated Iran from the international finance system. The $1.7 billion was the settlement of a decades-old arbitration claim between the U.S. and Iran. An initial 400 million in euros, Swiss francs, and other foreign currency was delivered on pallets January 17th. The same day, Tehran agreed to release 4 American prisoners. Coincidence? The Obama administration had claimed the events were separate, but then has recently acknowledged the cash was used as leverage until the Americans were allowed to leave Iran. The remaining $1.3 billion represented estimated interest on the Iranian cash the U.S. had held since the 1970s. My ass. The administration had previously declined to say if the interest was delivered to Iran in physical cash, as with the principal, or via a more regular banking mechanism. But early yesterday, officials from state, justice, and treasury departments held a closed-door briefing for congressional staff members on the payments, according to a Capitol Hill aide familiar with the session. The officials said that the $1.3 billion was paid in cash in 2 installments on January 22nd and February 5th. The aide was not authorized to speak publicly and requested anonymity. You know, they do that up there. Yeah, I got a secret. The money came from a little-known fund administered by the Treasury Department. Yeah, you think it was little known? Because if somebody could have put their hands on $1.7 billion, they would have done it already, especially if we've had the money for 40 years. The so-called judgment fund is taxpayer money Congress has permanently approved in the event it's needed, allowing the president to bypass direct congressional approval to make a settlement. Sound familiar again? Unilateral movement, folks. Recurring theme. The U.S. previously paid out $278 million in Iran-related claims by using the funds in 1991. Republicans have decried the payments as ransom, a charge the Obama administration has rejected but cannot defend. On Tuesday, a group of Republican senators announced their support for legislation that would bar payments from the Judgment Fund to Iran until Tehran pays the nearly $55.6 billion that U.S. courts have judged that it owes to American victims of Iranian terrorism. But Obama doesn't care about that because you're Americans, so you've never been terrorized or oppressed or anything like that. President Obama's disastrous nuclear deal with Iran was sweetened with an illicit ransom payment and billions of dollars for the world's foremost state sponsor of terrorism. That you can bank on, folks. And Representative Ed Royce, one of the few Republicans from California, who also happens to be the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, introduced a bill that prohibits cash payments to Iran and demands transparency on future settlements. You know, sending the world's leading state sponsor of terror pallets of untraceable cash, it's not just terrible policy, it's, what's the word? Help me out, Director Comey with the FBI. It's reckless. And it just puts bigger targets on the backs of Americans and, Western Europeans for that matter, too. If America's going to kowtow and pay ransom, who else isn't? And this cash bonanza has emboldened Iran's radical regime and undermined America's national security. And you're seeing it, folks. You're already seeing it. They're doing weapons testing that's not allowed by the treaty that Obama and Kerry just folded like a cheap chair on and quote unquote negotiated with Iran. They're already doing tests that aren't authorized. And what's happening? Nothing. No new sanctions, no seizing of monies, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, I'll tell you what's happening is they're getting closer and closer to having their nuclear program at full tilt. That's what's happening. What have you heard about nuclear inspections in Iran since this deal was negotiated? You heard about the first one yet? No. No, you haven't. There's a reason you haven't heard about it. You want to know what it is? I knew you would. The reason is they haven't had one. That's right. There hasn't been one yet. Let that sink in. We just gave the number one state sponsor of terrorism $1.7 billion. Is that right? 1.7? Yeah, $1.7 billion. Billion. And we gave them the freedom to continue their nuclear program for peaceful energy purposes. Yeah, right. And they're launching military weapons that are forbidden by this treaty or this agreement. We won't even call it a treaty. Treaties have to be ratified by Congress, and we know this was not. It just kills me. It absolutely kills me that this man can stand there with a straight face talking about loving America and keeping America strong, and all the while allowing this crap to go on and putting us and our allies at risk. And if you can't see that, there's no help for you. Plain and simple. And of course, you got the blustering from the House and the Senate. They plan to hold hearings on these payments. Well, isn't that just special? Now we're 8 months removed from the payments now, and now you want to hold hearings on it? Now? They already have the cash. They've already spent chunks of the cash. They may have spent all of it. But hey, we're going to bang our gavel and we're going to sound like we're upset. And in the end, nothing's going to happen.
Bang our gavel, is that a euphemism for something that I'm not familiar with?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it could be, I guess, if you're equipped in such a manner. I don't know. I guess it could be. I was, just kind of referring to how they like to beat the gavel on the desk and call their little hearings to order, and then not a damn thing happens. And it just, that and a flame about 3 feet high just burns my ass. I mean, I don't know. I'm just sick of a do-nothing Congress. They talk the game, but then when it's time to put up, they got nothing. You want to know where the JV team is, folks? The JV team isn't ISIS. The JV team is on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. That's where the JV team is. Pisses me off. All right, enough of that. We alluded to something a little while ago about the G20 going on. So here we go. You'll like this, okay? Communist Party General Secretary Xi Jinping of China, United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and President Barack Obama rendezvoused Saturday in the People's Republic of China. This sets the backdrop for a moment of unusual clarity in the struggle between those who believe in individual liberty and those who believe government should plan and control our lives. Or did it? What was the purpose of this meeting? Well, the communist leader of China and the President of the United States handed over to the Secretary General of the United Nations documents declaring their nations were officially joining the Paris Agreement on climate change. The agreement itself describes such documents as, quote, instruments of ratification, acceptance, approval, or accession. Now, Obama did not ask the Senate to ratify this agreement by the 2/3 vote our Constitution requires of treaties. So, to what did Obama alone commit this nation to? I mean, really, he steps forward, bypasses Congress on a treaty that they're not going to call a treaty, they're going to call it an agreement. And he commits our nation to this. The agreement says one of its primary aims is, quote, holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels and pursuing efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels, recognizing that this would significantly reduce the risks and impacts of climate change. So thereafter, the reduction and mitigation of something that they can't even prove is happening. Sounds logical to me. So the Sunday New York Times described the varying U.S. and Chinese commitments to this project as follows. They include a compromise for China's carbon emissions to reach a plateau or decline around 2030. but without any specific target for reductions like those Mr. Obama pledged for the United States, between 26 and 28% of 2005 levels by 2025. That means that China has plenty of room to continue burning fossil fuels to power its economy. Obama, nonetheless, described his unilateral approval of the Paris Agreement as a personal triumph that could save the Earth. And yeah, if you want to buy that crap. Now, here's Obama's quote. "One of the reasons I ran for this office was to make sure that America does its part to protect this planet for future generations." I want you to stew on that for a minute while we hit the bottom of the hour here. We're going to take a little commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to finish this piece, and we'll have a lineup for you for after the Grouch tonight. So sit tight. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, and we'll continue on.
Oh, but that America, you and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Oh, but ain't that America? For you and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
Damn right, home of the free. Welcome back, folks. Okay,
Till November.
So I'm sorry, what was that, Rick?
Till November.
Till November. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully we can save it, but who knows? So anyway, wanted to remind everybody that after me tonight, you got Jesse's POV. Then we're going to have an encore presentation of When's World, and then you got the venerable one, the Rowdy Rick Robinson guy, doing America Off the Rails, tonight at 10. So you got that going for you right here on KLRN Radio. But when we left off, Obama was doing his little tear jerk moment of how he just wants to save the planet. And his quote said that over the past 7.5 years, we've transformed the United States into a global leader in the fight against climate change. My ass. Let me tell you what he's done over the past 7.5 years, okay? You look at all the failed green energy companies that the federal government, that his administration has pumped billions and billions of dollars into. How many billions of dollars? Well, that I can account for $742 billion into green energy companies over the last nearly 8 years that have gone belly up. And that money just evaporated. That's your money. That's my money. That's our money. That this jackass has flushed down the toilet. Now, he went on to say, someday we may see this as the moment that we finally decided to save our planet. Spare me. So what does China think about this? I mean, here's their side of it. Okay, so what does the People's Republic do with people? Good question, right? Well, the government restricted the rights of parents to choose the number of children they have. Wow. There's a nice, wouldn't you call that a human right? I mean, I don't know. Would you call it a human right to pick the number of kids you want to have? Intense pressure to meet birth limitation targets set by government regulations resulted in instances of local family planning officials using physical coercion to meet government goals. Such practices included the mandatory use of birth control and the forced abortions of unauthorized pregnancies. In the case of families that already had 2 children, one parent was often required to undergo sterilization. Chinese families that have a child without government approval can be subject to what amounts to a 1,000% income tax. Holy crap. 1,000%? The law requires each parent of an unapproved child to pay a social compensation fee that could reach 10 times a person's annual disposable income. This is their idea on how to help control climate change. Meanwhile, the people that are there are dying because of the smog from, all the sweatshops and factories and this and that and the other thing, the standards they don't have. I'm not saying that we should just turn factories loose unfettered. Yeah, there should be some standards. But these people are ignorant. This whole administration has been clinging to this junk science that they say, oh, scientists back us up. Well, you know why scientists back them up? Let me tell you why scientists back up the Obama administration's claim about man-made global warming. They back them up because they want money to continue to do other research. And if they don't play ball, the federal government won't give them the research money. That's what it boils down to. The scientists are being coerced. So we got one of Obama's top advisors on climate change named John Holdren. He's the director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, or STP, if you will. He is the STP director. So in 1973, as this column has noted before, Holdren joined Paul and Ann Ehrlich, authors of The Population Bomb, in writing Human Ecology, Problems and Solutions. Now, these co-authors saw three sources for environmental degradation: people, affluence, and technology. The relation, they wrote, can be written as a mathematical equation. Total environment damage equals population times the level of material affluence per person times the environmental damage done by the technology we use to supply each bit of affluence. Halting population growth must be done, they said, but that alone would not be enough. Holdren and his co-authors recommend stabilizing or reducing the per capita consumption of resources in the United States is necessary but not sufficient. So not only do they want to control population growth, they want you to reduce what you consume, and those two together are not enough. Attempts to reduce technology's impact on the environment are essential, but ultimately will be futile if population and affluence grow unchecked. Clearly, if there is to be any chance of success, simultaneous attacks, and these are his words now, not mine, simultaneous attacks must be mounted on all the components of the problem. Folks, this was 1973. They were already advocating for Agenda 21. And if you're not familiar with what Agenda 21 is, look it up. We don't have time right now. Do your own homework. I always preach it. I'm going to lay it out there for you. It's worth it, though. Trust me. Trust me, it's worth it. Do the homework. In their conclusion, Holdren and the Ehrlichs said, political pressure must be applied immediately to induce the United States government to assume its responsibility to halt the growth of the American population. A massive campaign must be launched to restore a high-quality environment in North America and to develop the United States. Redistribution of wealth, both within and among nations, is absolutely essential if a decent life is to be provided for every human being, they wrote. Are you getting this crap? 43 years later, with Holdren serving as House Science Advisor, Obama took the Little Sisters of the Poor all the way to Supreme Court in an effort to ensure that their employee health care plan would cover abortion-inducing drugs and devices. And on Saturday in China, Obama said of his climate change agreement, someday we may see this as the moment we finally decided to save our planet. What's next, folks? Is he going to pass some kind of new decree before he leaves office, limiting the number of children you can have? My childbearing days are done. It doesn't affect me, but it could certainly affect my daughter. It could certainly affect your children. Who knows? It might affect some of you. I don't know. There's just no telling where the insanity of this administration is going. And again, you can rest assured, you can absolutely rest assured that it will be in some form of unilateral action, just like this Paris Agreement. Another unilateral action. It's a recurring theme tonight, folks. I told you over and over and over with Obama. He does not govern. He rules. And instead of clipping his wings and Velcroing his ass to the chair, Congress just lets him get away with it. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're just going to move on. Like Bernie Sanders, I'm a little sick and tired of hearing about Hillary's email, but not for the same reasons. Not for the same reasons at all. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Hillary's email because nobody's doing a damn thing about it. We know this woman's already broke the law. We know that the Justice Department is covering for her. We know the Obama administration is going to do anything they can. And that'd be an affirmative, senior producer man. That would be an affirmative if you have it. You just let me know when you're ready. So in a July 2nd interview with the Federal Bureau of Infestation.
I changed it to an R. I call them the Federal Bureau of Retardation.
Oh, well, there you go. That works too. I call it infestation because apparently the liberals have infested our justice system. This interview about her email practices, use of a personal email server, and specific emails she sent and received as Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton told her questioners, as the FBI summarized it, that she, quote, could not recall, did not remember, or had no recollection 41 times. 41 times. Clinton did not recall receiving any emails she thought should not be on an unclassified system. Clinton told the FBI, according to page 4 of the summary that was released today, that she relied on state officials to use their judgment when emailing her and could not recall anyone raising concerns with her regarding the sensitivity of the information she received at her email address. That paragraph included the 11th and 12th examples of when the FBI said she told them that she could not recall something. Huma Abedin, Mrs. Anthony Weiner, who is now Weinerless. Yeah, that's right. Huma is Weinerless. At least that's the rumor anyway. Also had an account on Clinton Mail or ClintonEmail.com because she frequently assisted Hillary Clinton with personal matters, said the FBI summary. Clinton did not recall any other individuals being offered an account on ClintonEmail.com. Now, here's a nice little excerpt from the actual interview. This is the report anyway. Clinton recalled, she actually did recall being briefed on special access programs information, but could not recall any specific briefing on how to handle information associated with special access programs. Clinton was certain she signed an agreement memorializing her access to SAP material, but she could not recall specific detail. Clinton recalled all SAP-related information as delivered to her by paper in her office. Isn't that cute? She can remember some things, but she can't remember the important things. Is that really who we want in the Oval Office? Not to mention what her husband will be doing just outside the Oval Office. In the summary, the FBI describes several instances in which a specific email was presented to Clinton during the Bureau's interview with her, and she said she did recall the email. So she can remember specific emails. How can she not remember all this other crap? I mean, really. The FBI's redacted summary of its exchange with Clinton over one specific email she did not remember makes reference to deliberation over a future drone strike. After reviewing an email dated, redacted, the date was redacted, with a subject line that was redacted, Clinton said she did not remember the email specifically, and the FBI summary. Clinton stated deliberation over a future drone strike did not give her cause for concern regarding classification. Clinton understood this type of conversation as part of the routine deliberation process. Moreover, she recalled many conversations about future strikes that never occurred. And the report's out there, folks. I mean, really, there are some nice excerpts you can pull and read through, and it's just going to absolutely blow your freaking mind. I guarantee it. And you really should do this. And we had some more that we wanted to do, but wow. Let me move forward here. So, Mr. Producer, do we have the clip ready?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, let's go ahead and just play the clip, and I'm going to help you out with this as soon as it's done. It's very short, so just take a listen and get this.
I am a president of a sovereign state, and we have long ceased to be a colony. I do not have any master except the Filipino people. Nobody but nobody. You must be respectful. Do not just throw away questions and statements. Putang ina, mumurahin kita dyan sa forum na yan.
This.
Okay, so that was Filipino President Rodrigo Duterte, and what he muttered off there in Tagalog right at the very end was he was calling Barack Obama a son of a whore. Yes, you heard that right. He referred to the United States president as a son of a whore. Now, who am I to challenge the veracity of that claim? Maybe Duterte knows something that we don't. I don't know. But when I first heard about this, I really thought that Duterte was trying to cuss at Obama in English, which is like a third or fourth language for him, and he just got confused. But when I actually heard the audio that he did it in his native tongue, he knew exactly what he was saying. And what he went on to say after that was that he was not going to be lectured by the U.S. leader on human rights when they meet in Laos. Duterte was unhappy at warnings he would face questioning by the U.S. president over a war against drugs in the Philippines that has claimed more than 2,400 lives in just over 2 months. Duterte said, "You will be respectful. Do not just throw away questions and statements." He said, "You son of a whore, I will curse you in that forum." Those were his words. So he said, "We will be wallowing in the mud like pigs if you do that to me." This is going to be fantastic. The meeting for them is supposed to happen this week. And it may have actually been today. I'll have to follow up on that, but absolutely fantastic. What has prompted all this is, like I mentioned, there's been Duterte took office just a couple of months ago, and since he did, he's really clamped down with the war on drugs. He's after the pushers, he's after the distributors, he's after the growers, he's after all of them, and they've killed 2,400 people in just over 2 months. Now, the Filipino people don't seem to have a problem with this. They're happy that the drug dealers are getting off the streets. And if they don't get off the streets, they get dead. You talk about an effective, I'm not sitting here endorsing just going out and killing people, but can you imagine a more effective method to end the drug problem in your country? I don't know. I'm just saying, that's one way to go, I guess. I don't condone going out and just killing people for the sake of killing. But, and I don't know how bad the drug problem is in the Philippines. But this man is not going to budge. And he doesn't care what Obama thinks about him. And it's painfully obvious. And if it's not painfully obvious, then maybe the son of a whore should wake up. So anyway, that's tonight's show. We didn't get to everything. As usual, I over-prepped, which is all good. Remember to stay tuned. Right after me tonight, you get Jesse's POV, then an encore presentation of When's World, and then after that, you get Rowdy Rick Robinson with America Off the Rails. And he's going to be joined tonight by who, sir? Who's joining you again tonight?
Bill O'Keefe, otherwise known as Defend Wall Street on Twitter.
Damn right. Bill O'Keefe is joining Rick Robinson tonight. You're going to love that show, folks, because that's two good minds picking apart some good stuff right there. Do yourself a favor, stay tuned for the whole night. It's still summer, reruns still suck, but we've got you covered right here on KLRN Radio, just like we do every night. So do yourself a favor, stay tuned. I'm the Grouch. I'll catch you next week. Peace.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America?